Last session, the avant-garde, currently within the cult cliffs, after just defeating Fel Gadamine and the angel Kara, you all began to loot their corpses, or what was left of them, freed the rest of the kobolds, and were able to make allies with these 200 kobolds who now agreed to follow you to your home just for a short while to rest and rebuild lives somewhere far from the troubles of their old homeland. You all proceeded to put these kobolds in an extraplanar space and then teleport across the continent back to your home of Coltherstone Hold. It is here you had a nice night with your mushroom uh, denizens that live and dwell within your home, as well as the many pixies that dwell within the forest now about the space. It was a nice night, one that you were able to fully enjoy, to breathe in the fresh, natural air of your home, but one that, as morning came, you all know you have to continue forward. And that small break, the respite, doesn't last long. As you send message forth and discover that your allies, the Terra and the Paladins, are amassing within the forests just outside of Dislac, preparing to free Borodor from the deadly siege that it is undergoing, to free the city once and for all, and turn the tide of this war towards Garishtal, now that all of the vestiges have been gathered.
You said outside of DLAC?
Um, yes.
Okay. So like right
I'm,
here.
yeah.
Okay.
Also, did I spell it wrong? No way.
Isn't that D Lake?
Um, it's shouldn't be. It should be Dislac.
Oh,
I, bel
Dislac. Okay.
I believe. I Wow, that has been like that for probably a year or more. But yes, they are meeting in the forests, just essentially out of close the closest forest essentially to Borodor itself,
Okay.
which is just outside of that small minor village.
We did. We didn't get Faraday yet, did we?
At this point, not yet. Faradir has been alerted, um, and is essentially readying herself, um, and from what you last heard, the giants as well.
Okay.
Um, Faradir is only from the distance of your home to Guanistan. You can get there in about 3 hours.
You talking
Guanistan,
about by walking? By
yeah, by
walk?
walking.
Okay.
Guanistan is immensely close to your home, surprisingly.
Okay. All right. So I think just to conserve on resources, we are probably going to want to traverse to Guanistan on foot to get Faradir. Once there, Senti can cast Wind Walk. Then we can get to Dislock.
Yes.
We can get the Dislock relatively quickly. It wouldn't take us any time. And then that would only be using one spell slot. And we had everybody. Then again, I don't know what the Giants will be doing, but how does that sound?
I don't know if Senti's ever been to the place, to whatever place you just said before, but I think they said they have a free casting of like Tree Stride or something like that.
Because Tree Stride and Transport via planes are two different things.
I don't know which one it is, but
Tree Stride is the more shorter one. Transport via planes is the one that's long distance travel.
Yes. Tree
um,
stride itself is like 500 feet, I believe.
do
Yeah,
you know which one it is, Senti?
a Tree Stride is almost like a dimension door for druids. Mm. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, in
so
that
like if we've ever, I don't know if Senti's been there before, but if they have, then we could probably do that to, save a spell slot.
well, that could get us to Guanastone then.
Yeah, or that.
Yeah, because I don't know. That's up to Graham. If she's been a D lock. I don't know. I highly doubt we might have passed it.
Um. Ooh, sorry about that. One sec. I fixed the map real fast. That should be more correct. Close enough. Um, judging from where Senti came, Senti, just roll me a d20. Because you would have been captured. Um, 9. You probably haven't been too close. You probably took a more northern route, bypassing that town. Um, essentially taking the middle road between Rankton, Stanton, Borodor, heading out into the Outer Lands where you were captured in Zem. You can get yourself within a couple hours' journey, essentially. That being about right here. You know the trees around this area where, it's fairly close. You're just actually probably like a half hour off away from the town. You just never went.
Okay. All right. So we have a couple options. We can. Well, how do we want to get to Guangston? So we can walk there. We could wind walk, or we can use transport via plants.
Yeah, I think probably just walk so we can save like a spell slot or two.
All right. Sounds like a plan to me. Gives us time to really think about what's about to happen. A big war.
So, um, actually, might be a little bit longer than I expected. Walking 3 miles an hour, actually, you would take 3 hours to get to Guanistan. Um, and then probably 4 hour walk, actually. I was way off on my calculations.
Okay. I still think we'll
Walk it.
still do the walk. Yeah, I think so.
It's still pretty early in the day. You all gather the few materials you will need and begin walking northward. Um, you move through the forest that surrounds this section of the the valley here. It's still the riverine forest. It is a fairly calm, safe portion between Guanistan and Rankton, one that is heavily patrolled by both the Terra and the people of Guanistan. And it is a calm journey. Um, you see the city well off in the distance, the singular large central spire and the ringed walls of the city um, claim your vision fairly easily. You do also see what appears to be a large singular cloud partially dipping lower than it should within what looks to be a local large storm cell. Um, and as the storm cell slowly moves over the next hour or so, you do see looks to be tall towers, peaks of what is very clearly a floating castle that is familiar. Um, and as you get closer, you can see that it actually seems to be anchored to some portions of the city with long um, metallic um, chains that seem to just dangle from one portion of it. It is just they're just very long, and it's just kind of floating within this local cloudy sector. But it you do notice it. Um, upon getting within the front gates of the city, there is a bustle in the air as the front of the city is packed. The entire area where the armies had gathered when you were here not but a week ago are filled with soldiers. You see medical tents and transports are preparing themselves to march. And you get the sense that Guanistan's forces, which you your deal seems to have gone through, that Guanistan is marching to the defense of the kingdom to help Rankdent um, and the people of this kingdom defend Borodor from the siege it's currently under. You do see what looks to be a few cloud giants kind of in their own section are themselves preparing a wagon train. Um, you do see that two of them currently have some of those floating cloud mechanisms with them, um, but most of them seem ready to hoof it and march across the forests here. Um, and actually, with those cloud giants, you do spot a familiar ally, that of Faradir.
Um, go up. How long
Fair.
has it been? It's been how many days?
Probably. Um. So
Because we went right from here to
Dahlem, I believe.
uh no, I thought
No.
we went to Abana.
Yeah, you
We went,
did.
we went right to Abana.
Um. You. I don't think you were in Bana for more than a couple hours.
And then we went to then we went to the Phil Pike. That was
Well,
snowboarding then.
you went to Dahlem, spent the night.
Yeah. Yep.
Because that was I think the extent of your magic. Then
Yep.
flew to Felt Pike, flew back to Dahlem, spent a oh no, flew into the woods, spent a night, spent a portion of the day in the Cult Cliffs, and then teleported home. It has been 3 days.
Man, a lot happens in 3 days.
Yeah, yeah, a lot does. Um,
Okay. All right. Well, fair dear. I would say a long time, but really hasn't been.
Hello. Glad to see you all again.
I haven't heard it in so long. I don't know why it made me laugh. How's how things been going here?
Oh, pretty good. We rebuilt the castle, and some of the giants will be helping us fight Gerishtal now.
Good. Definitely going to need it.
How was your getting the rest of the magic things?
Um, Not too bad. Uh, I died again.
It is not great. Seems you
No,
got better though.
more or less. But we have collected them all, though.
Great. Now we have all the fancy things. Speaking of which, you have the swords?
Yeah, I think Bellic has them in the bag.
Yep. Then I'll just I'll pull out the swords and give them Faraday.
out of your bag.
Yep, out of my bag.
Okay.
Are they there?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
That's gonna be the final real monster, the bag man.
Yeah, they might be a little used.
Thank you. I missed these. And just put them in the many sheets that Faraday has.
Um,
Right.
you do as you grab the black blade. Um, you do hear that familiar voice enter your head of Vicus McCall, um, his ghost inhabiting the Black Blade. Um, and he seems excited to be returned and to finish this quest.
Faraday's gonna put a hand over the hilt of the sword because she doesn't know where this thing's ears are, and says, I did not miss the voice in my head. I will not lie to you."
If you wish,
E-
I'll be quiet from now on.
oh shit! They can still hear me.
It's a telepathic link. It's when this is over, I may abandon the blades if you deem it necessary. But you
Oh,
will
I
find,
don't care what you do. It's your swords technically.
oh, they're yours now. You might just find them um, less effective without me helping you.
Yeah, you make them very good, so you should stick around if you want to. Otherwise, they kind of suck. They're just swords, I'd imagine.
Well, I'll help as long as I am needed.
Great! So, where are we going?
Right. For that, do you want the Dawn Martyr armor? No one else really can use it. I think
Didn't we say Belric was using it?
they've already get the Dawn Martyr armor.
And then we were.
Well, yeah. Well, initially, I think, yeah, everyone thought it was me, but because of Dancer, basically Dancer did the exact same thing as the armor, so it'll be just redundant
Right.
on me.
Yeah. Dancer doesn't. Does Dancer give you uh, reaction for fire damage?
Yep, I have a reaction for I think 2d6 fire damage. I think.
Yeah, I think that was the issue I had. Is my reaction is really important for one of my runes.
Yeah, but it also gives you a +2 to AC.
It
And
does. It would
also
only be
fire
an extra
resistance.
1 to AC for me.
Why'd it only be a +1?
Because I already have a. Or I guess it's a plate, so it would be better than my
Yeah, so it's
breastplate.
18 plus 2, so it'd be 20 base.
20.
Okay.
Then while you're
So
doing
my
that,
AC would go up by
21.
2.
So you basically
Okay.
hit 21.
Hmm. Um. Yeah, Fair Deer will take it.
Yeah.
It should be fine.
In the dancer, in the sun dancer form, it is kind of negated, like they share similar abilities. But in shadow dancer, it would be not as bad, technically.
Yeah, Fair Deer will take the armor.
Okay.
Might as well.
Do
I
you?
mean, I'll be giving up my adamantine though, which kind of sucks.
I mean, you
I
don't
do
have to wear
like.
it.
I love adamantine.
Adamantine is nice, but this is
But extra AC is also nice.
yeah. So you attune to the item.
I don't know. I'll keep thinking about it. I won't do it just yet.
Okay.
We aren't going into battle in the next 10 minutes. I'll think on it.
Um, as you're all currently talking to Faradir, you do see um, currently walking up to the kind of giant's caravan where they seemingly are readying themselves to join. You see what looks to be three individuals um, approaching. You recognize all three. One seems to be um, one of Faradir's friends, one of the giants who kind of shifted sides and attempted to draw more of the other giants to Faradir's plight. That is Kuruk. You also see Yistrid walking with him. And in between the both of them is Queen Lagura. All three currently are decked out in just full armored regalia. You can see hefty runes are embedded in lots of these beautiful pieces, um, and all three are looking like true giant warriors that are readying themselves for a fight. You can see Cork currently has a traditional, like, it looks to be a traditional giant war mask currently hanging off of his hip, waiting to be put on. Uh, and they just look imposing. Um, you see Queen Lagura kind of nods to you, Faradir. It's good to see all of you again. I assume you've come to take Faradir away from us.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna need her talents.
Ystrad kind of walks around the group and does go over to Faradir and just gets down kind of lower. Just puts her hand on Faradir's shoulder. I'm glad to be joining you in this. We will succeed.
Yes, probably. Hopefully.
We don't really have too much of a choice. It's either we do or we die.
I like the first option better.
Sounds good to me.
Faradir has helped us convince other giants to support this cause. Not all of us are joining. Many are still imprisoned within Guanistan. They they're still scared. But there are 30 of us that are going to be joining you. Kuruk speaks up. We have something to prove against those fire giants.
Yes, they are quite rude. I did meet one. He did not like me.
They need to be shown a better path, like we showed Zaren's followers. Not all will follow immediately. Their minds have been entrenched in propaganda and tyranny for too long. But maybe we can get through to some. And maybe through this we can rebuild a giant legacy. Not just for the cloud giants, but for all giants. Maybe it starts with this. Um, Ystrad kind of speaks up. Where are you all going first?
Ugh. Seems the first battle will be Borodor. Gotta free the city.
We will be there soon. The army is marching at 2 today. Hopefully we can reach the location within the morrow.
Alright. Everybody ready?
Ready as can be.
Alright. So, Senti, I'll say this, you have a choice. You can either use transport via plant to get us close to this lock, or we can do wind walk and just fly there. Choice is yours.
Or we can just walk if Senti doesn't wanna.
Or we can just walk. If yeah, Senti could be like, no, I'm tired of. Are we in a
I'm not your
rush?
goddamn taxi service.
Um, you you do know that they said Borodor would most likely fall within a week's time. That was 3 days ago. You don't know if that was just an estimate. You don't know the exact time a city can fall. Um, and you do know walking, it'll probably be 2 day journey. Well,
So,
at least a full Let's see. To get to the location, it would probably be about 40 miles or so, which would mean um, day and close to 2 days, essentially. Oh, and Becky's here too. Welcome.
So, which will you do, Zinti? Three options, or
Um,
I think when walk in total, because transport via plants would get us within like what, an hour, hour and a half.
yeah, it would get you pretty close. You might still have a little bit of walking to do. You don't know exactly also where this location is. Because it's not. It did not say Dislock itself. It said outside in the forests. So,
Yeah.
um,
My vote personally would be Windwalk. Wait, your hometown is Dislock? Oh, oh, okay. I was like, Senti lore?
Senti lived in a town with a population of like 800 people. Wow.
Right, but I think our choice is Windwalk.
Okay. You all cast Windwalk and begin to shift into cloudy forms in order to traverse the skies quickly and efficiently. Um, as you all are preparing to turn into mist forms, um, Faradir will be given a big hug from Ystrid and wished luck by many of the other giants who she was able to speak to and, you know, experience again after a long time of not seeing her friends. Is Omen staying in Guanistan?
Omen is probably doing whatever she is told to do by the
Um,
Guanistan, like whoever's running Guanistan. She's part of their militia, so probably fighting with them if they're fighting, or not if they're not.
Omen, Omen will be summoned into the regiments here, um, and most likely, based on battle experience, as of now, will probably be given a whole regiment.
Damn, nice. She doesn't have the charisma to lead fucking a squirrel to a tree, but nice.
Um, well, it's just you've faced some of these enemies before at this point. Your knowledge right now is invaluable, and while you're probably not going to be the single leader of it, you're in an advisory role for some 800 soldiers.
Love it.
um, which you'll learn their names on the 2-day march to the location.
Nice. All
Um,
800 of them.
mhm. A couple of them at least. The commanders. Regiment is divided into companies and squadrons, so it gets pretty small. You'll learn the names you need to know. But 2,000 Guanistan soldiers, conscripted over the past few months of fighting against Zarin, with 30 cloud giants, marshal themselves, and as you shift and turn into clouds and begin sailing southward, you see a massive front of soldiers marching on. Heading south, you pass the King's Mountain in Terranak, two massive fortresses on the same mountain, both of which are eerily still. In the past, you've seen armies readying themselves and practicing in the open fields, forges alight with fires and flames and smoke. They are silent and empty. You fly to the border forest and continue southward. You can see the open field ahead of you, the rolling rocky hills leading to what you know to be rich agricultural farmland outside of Stanton. But you do see singes and burns, black scorch marks across the fields here, and a distant, ever-burning flame rising from the mountains to the south. As you're flying over the forests, can someone make me an investigation check, please?
Could we have Seer do it? I have a solid +2.
Oh wait, it's what?
Investigation check.
Investigation.
Fuck it, I'll do it.
Yes.
Hell yeah!
Let's go +1. Woo! Hey!
Hey, that's pretty good.
Oh, very good. Gamesh, as you're flying over the forests, you begin to see the distant lights of a town to the south, but you don't see a place a gathering force would be. Until there is a bunch of what looks to be markings on the open fields just outside of one section of the forest, just a couple miles north of Dislok. Looks to be large wagon tracks have rushed through the space, but you don't see any lights or signs of a fortification. And as you fly lower, suddenly you find yourself falling through some sort of field. How low would you have gone? To investigate.
Tree line, like
Okay.
tree height. Yeah.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no. Next time someone else is rolling investigation.
Okay, you are gonna take half damage.
Damn.
Wow. So you're gonna take 9 points of bludgeoning damage as the magic spell. You all watch as Gamesh goes kind of low with the tree line and begins like coasting, just above the trees, and then he disappears. Gamesh, You fall 40 feet and smack through branches and hit the ground, but are able to withstand some of the force. Immediately, you hear intruders, intruders, and you watch as what looks to be a half dozen Terra automatically turn what looks to be loaded crossbows in your direction. You see three of them are currently in the trees that you fell past, and the other nine of them are currently on the ground, heavy crossbows aimed in your direction. And you wait a few moments, expecting a strike, and you see them all lower their weapons. Gamesh, is that you?
Uh, I just kind of bob up and down.
You're in your mortal form at this point.
Oh, it forced me out of my windwalk form.
Yeah, the
Okay.
spell was dispelled.
Oh, that's why I took the damage.
Yeah, you're in your orcish natural form as the spell completely faded from you.
Well, I wasn't expecting that as I get up and as I start dusting myself off.
You see one of the terror kind of puts his fingers into his mouth, and you hear this very loud, piercing whistle just echo across the space. Um, is your party with you, sir?
They're up there somewhere.
You might want to let them know about the barrier before they fall in as well.
Um,
The terror leaders are expecting you and your group.
I will. Will. Do I have a way of telling the party that just happened?
Um,
Um,
so, in the immediate moment, what do you all do? You watch Kamesh just disappear. I must know.
I mean, I'll go and look and see what happened.
So you go in low to where he disappeared at?
Not like super far, because I don't want to fucking die or whatever, but
How low do you go?
a little?
What is a
Like to
little?
try and. I don't know what we're looking at. Is this.
You're looking at a forest. You just watch Ganesh get low to the trees and just disappear.
Like into the trees?
Um, he was a little bit above them. He was above the tree line, and then you just watch him make a perception check.
Okay.
There is a slight ripple effect as he seems to go through some sort of barrier, and then just disappears from view.
Hmm. I'll point that out to the rest of the party and start walking towards it.
You're a
I'm not
cloud.
gonna.
You are a cloud.
Oh, we're clouds. Fuck, I
Yes.
forgot.
How do you alert your fellow cloud party members?
I become the shape of an arrow pointing that way, like those fish in Finding Nemo.
Okay. How do the rest of you take that information?
I'll just keep going forward.
Okay. Belric, make me a dex saving throw. You watch as you point. You become this arrow, and you just start.
Follow Belric.
Make a dex save.
can I just know that my party's kind of dumb enough just to follow me and know they're gonna fall so I don't get landed on?
Yeah, you can move out of the way, especially as you just hear the loud sounds of branches snapping, as Belric and Mabehi both just see the arrow pointing to where Gamesh disappeared, and then they just quickly, because you move at like 600 feet per round, just zoom into the space and just start crashing through the trees. Belric, you take 18 points of bludgeoning damage. Mabehi, you take 9. As both of your magic forms are dispelled and you fall 40 feet.
Was that considered a success on my part?
Yes, it was.
So one night take no damage?
It's not a magic.
Well, hers isn't
I
just
don't
gonna
think
magic.
it doesn't matter if it's Magic or
Yeah.
not.
Mabehi. She's the cat of the group, man.
Yeah. I'd say with that, Behi, you do like the really awesome move. You're just like jumping from tree to tree to tree. Then at the last tree, you use like one of your rapier and you just stab it into the tree, and you go in a circle around the bottom of the tree, and then do a tumble roll right at the Ganesh's feet with your rapier out, looking at all these guards. No damage taken, I guess. I should have making an acrobatics check, I guess.
That wouldn't have been any better.
You would
Well,
have
you still would have
Good
took half
acrobatics,
you would have
damage.
taken half damage.
Oh, true.
But Bellic, you fully fall out of a tree, essentially.
And as those two fall, I'm like, kind of too late. They'll be down quickly or slowly.
Senti, make a dex save.
Oh, Senti.
Um, yeah, there's loud sounds as multiple trees lose very important branches. As between Belric and Senti, they utterly just demolish this part of the forest, just falling through on accident, taking 18 damage for Senti. Um, so Seer will look towards the arrow in her cloud form, and then go to the ground, turn into a human, and walk through the space, not succumbing to the falling damage.
She's the smart one.
And I'm guessing Faradir would follow that example.
Yeah.
Okay. So you two hit the ground, turn into your human forms, and begin walking. As Belric and Senti are um, kind of partially laughed at. You see a lot of the guards immediately start turning red and just kind of begin to turn and like just walk away, as they just were not expecting the random, party members, these legendary people who that are seemingly known to just nobody, terror guards, and they're crying of laughter. Um,
Hey,
at,
we're grounded.
I can see that. Um,
It's raining party members.
Josh, go make sure their friends know what they're coming into. And you see one of the ones who he's wiping away a couple tears. Yeah, I will. I got it. And he walks over towards some of these trees, and you watch him kind of just stick his head through what looks to be, from this side, a rippling purplish barrier. And Faradir and Senti, sorry, not Senti, Seer, see a single head poke through just nothingness. And he just whistles to the both of them. Your friends over here, they fell through the barrier. Come on.
Uh, okay.
And he goes back through, and just looks like he's not there anymore.
Cautiously follow.
Stepping through the barrier, you see your fellow party members with an array of different scratches and minor cuts, and maybe some bruises. And what you see beyond them, and what you all see, is a massive encampment built within this section of the forest, within partial clearings here, is an army gathered. You see hundreds of tents. You see soldiers are currently in the midst of doing last minute preparations and training. Small spars are happening. But the whole space is cloaked, encased, and protected, hiding the currently some couple thousand soldiers here. One of the guards kind of looks towards all of you. The Terra are expecting you, as are the Paladins. Follow me, I'll take you to them. One of the Terra guards begins to walk away from his fellow companions, who you see kind of re-steel themselves and get back to patrolling the borders. Fairdeer, you have a high passive perception. You do hear the one individual who popped his head out, just going over the story with his mates and just still laughing um, about how they just fell from the sky.
Hmm.
Um, Walking through the camp, you have many eyes on you. As you see, from what you can tell, mostly Terra have been gathered here. You can see um, a couple, oh, many of them also seem to be general guards from the region around Renkton. You can see a few silver cloaks out of Draken. You can see just general sort of um, marshaling of individuals who have some experience in combat. You can see a fair number of paladins, but mostly it seems to be favoring the Terra in this conflict. You're led to the center of the entire um, encampment, and you can see a tall, singular, dark rock obelisk, currently standing about 50 feet tall, is pulsating this purplish energy across the encampment, um, seemingly shadowing and covering the location of these soldiers. The guard kind of goes over to this big tent, kind of looks to some of the guards who are out front of it. Avant-garde are here. I'll take care of you. Good luck, commanders. He nods his head to you and goes back to his position. You can see the tent flaps are opened from the guards here. Welcome. And they allow you in.
How goes it?
I think you should talk to the commanders about that.
All right. Let's get things started.
Stepping in, the tent is warmly lit and is warm itself. There seems to be some sort of magical fire, just pulsating energy and warmth throughout the chamber. In the center is a large construction, a map showing locations of armies and forces throughout the kingdom, and seemingly the enemies of the kingdom. Standing around it, you see many familiar faces, that being Cormith Malfurion, the Lord Commander of the Paladins of Bahamut. You see two members of the Terra, that being Alana Zahin, with her gun currently still chained to her. You can see her duster is kind of open as she is sitting and inspecting the map. You can see the dark steel pistol that she carries. And you see the ancient Quar Neskoth, this ancient druid who you met during the party, who is, in all intensive purposes, the oldest orc you've ever seen in your lives. You also see another individual, that being the one of the leaders of the Red Fort, that of Nadia Reichs, who is the old red tiefling and ancestor of Athana Reichs, one of the champions. You see, she is also in the midst of speaking with many of these individuals. As you enter in, there is a brief stint of conversation that is overheard as Athana, sorry, not Athana, Nadia speaks up. I guarantee you, when they show up, and she smiles, well, there it is. You'll have the Red Fort's participation in this conflict. You see, Cormith stands. Avant-garde, welcome. It's always good to see your faces. I hope you bring good news. We're short on supply.
Well, I guess as good as it's really going to get, given the circumstances.
What do you have for us?
All the bandages.
Congratulations. I assume it was a difficult feat.
Surprisingly, I think we've had hard situations, but that's besides the point. We have them. Now it's time to put them to good use.
Well, I'm sure they will be well needed in the conflict to come. Nadia here was telling us about. Well, she gave you her vestige and promised to help us in the conflict. Now that they're here, will you tell us what you'll be giving us? Yes, the Red Fort is the closest city to the Moonlit Pass itself, where the hordes of Garashtal's forces are building themselves. His spies sit along the entire southern mountains. I cannot, with good conscience, leave the Red Fort undefended. He will see my armies walking out of the gates, and I cannot have that. I can't give you armies, but I have 40 wyverns that are able to carry some of the most powerful mages out of Greywatch who have guaranteed their service in this conflict, as well as one giant rock with the ability to carry 10 individuals. Hopefully that can give you air superiority in the conflict. I'm sorry that I can't give you much more. Thank you, Nadia. I understand.
I don't know if word is reached, but we also have the support of Guanston.
I'd heard you dealt with Zarin. How many are they bringing, do you know?
Do I know how many?
Fairdeer would, probably.
No, there you go.
Yeah, how many is it?
About 2,000.
2,000? That's not her name. That's not her voice. I am so tired. Don't talk to me anymore.
Don't talk to me anymore.
Nobody ever talked to me again.
Does that include the giants? Or no?
No, it does not.
Okay. Do you relay that information?
Yes, I do. No, I'm just gonna keep it all secret. Won't tell anybody.
Until the battle starts.
Um, do you keep that information?
No, I'm gonna tell them, obviously.
Okay. 2,030 giants. That is Better news than I could have hoped. Guanistan hasn't helped us in, well, I don't know how you convinced them, but you just undid 700 years of progress with them.
I am pretty good at talking to people. It is one of my many skills.
I can see that. Alana, what does that bring us? Well, the current numbers are 4,233 Terra, bringing 580 paladins in with 30 giants and 2,000 Guanistan soldiers, with the 90 soldiers from the Red Fort. Brings us to close to 7,000. It's close. The army around Borodor is split. Currently, we estimate 10,000 at Borodor itself, and another 1,500 currently besieging Stanton. Now, Adler Kane is dealing with the ones at Stanton right now. He might have lowered the numbers enough to make a difference, funneling him into the dead city, ambushing him at every chance he can. But his numbers are low. They will probably join together. In modest estimates, we're looking at 11,000 potentially. Borodor itself is currently being besieged. We have been putting troops every day, teleporting them into Borodor. Our numbers there estimate 3,000 good fighting soldiers, conscripted innocents and civilians. They'll have to at least match the numbers to keep the siege going and not allow them to press outward. So, currently, we're looking at 8,000 to our 7. We're close. Very, very close. Have we heard anything else from the other cities? Alana speaks up. I received word that 400 heavy cavalry have made it through Draken and the Deadlands. They should be halfway through Rankton by now, perhaps. Should be here by dawn. It's not a lot, but they are dealing with the Iron Clan themselves. And, well, Crankton has a lot of open space. Fossley is supposedly sending 800 heavy infantry somewhere between here and Guanistan. Perhaps they've already left. Who knows when they'll get here, though. With those additionals, we're looking at another 1,200. Puts us at 8,000, just upward. Plus guards from throughout the Rankton area. I believe we have 500 of those. We're pushing close to 9,000. Our numbers actually might be superior, depending on if they are not reinforced. Good. We'll have air superiority, if the Red Fort is to be believed. Faradir, would you have told them that you're bringing... Well, you already told Cloud Giants. So, Cormith will then continue with the Cloud Giants. I've heard them having the ability to fly themselves, which further will increase our air superiority. This is looking like it could be possible. We'll have more troops, hopefully. We can end the siege of Borodor, free up those 3,000 soldiers, gather all our units, and we'll have a fighting chance. especially with you, Avant-Garde.
All right. So you said you had means of teleporting us in the Bordor.
If you wanted to be teleported, you could. Um, Perhaps you could, if you wanted to, take up the defenses of Borodor and lead a charge out of it.
That's what I was thinking. That'll allow us to throw them off guard. They won't be ready for the spike in power. Then that will leave hopefully enough opening for a pincer attack for as you come out of the forest. Good old 1-2 punch.
They will see us coming. They've had spies throughout the forest. Strange wraith-like entities. My paladins have been effective, but there's many of them. Once we march out of this location, they will see us. I'm assuming their army will come to us. And I think we should rely on that. Bordor is high in the mountains. We'd be fighting a terrain penalty.
Ah, true.
But we can, with the numbers, if Guanistan shows in time, we'll have the numbers. We can take on the main force, allow you all to sally out of Borodor if that is your choice. And if we last long enough in the fight, we can turn the tide even more. An additional 3,000 from Borodor itself would greatly change things.
Did we ever stop in Bordor?
I do not believe so. You've seen it from afar, but you've not stopped in it.
Yeah, I think when we were heading to Don Willow. Um,
Yeah, it is from what you've seen, it is a city located buttressed against a mountain, also high up into the peaks of it. Kind of in like a rocky, craggy area. Um, it would take a couple hours hike just to get to the city of Borondor. Um, and it would not be advisable to fight in that kind of terrain. Um, with a large army like that. Like,
right.
it makes it so the city is difficult as hell to besiege. Um, but it's, yeah.
Okay.
Um, even if they to keep the siege, they will most likely keep the siege of the city. They will not want a full sally to succeed. But with you all at the front, I think you could. And it would be enough to split their armies. I didn't think that we would get these numbers. I thought we were going to be at least 2,000 short of being truly matched with our opponents.
Only problem is getting those within the city to want to leave. We don't really know anyone in Mordor.
Um, I can assure you, I can get you missive and meetings with Lord Augur. And knowing him, for as long as I've known him, he'll sally forth with you. That is a man who is not afraid of a fight. It's kind of their identity.
All right then.
We have a plan. Past that, with the siege of Borodor over, We hunt down as many of them as we can. If they do retreat from us, we harass them all the way. We have air superiority. I think we can do some damage. They'll be going back to the Moonlit Pass, most likely. It's heavily secured. Well, one step at a time. Secure board door. Harass them back to the Moonlit Pass. And from there we can come up with some way to get you all into the Underdark.
And then that's where the real battle begins.
Most likely.
Alright.
Alright, so it sounds like we have our plan.
Yeah, you do.
How soon can you get us into Borodor?
He looks towards the wizened old orc. I believe last we sent forces was this morning. Tomorrow morning we'll send you with fresh supplies, food, medicine, and soldiers.
Alright.
We have ways of sending word to all of you. When the army marches away from the walls, that is when you will have to strike. Once we engage them in battle, and you defeat their forces after the sally, we can succeed. If you all need tents, they're provided for you here in the encampment. We'll wait for Guanistan to arrive, as well as our other forces, and let you know when we're marching out. We'll have wizards. He looks towards Kuar. Have wizards, multiple of them, see the party, so they can send messages as often as we need them. Keep them up to date on our movements. I want this communication to be perfect. Hopefully after that, well, we all succeed. Well, so far, meeting adjourned. You see they all stand and begin to exit the tent. You see Cormac kind of begins to walk around, and you hear heavy trotting coming essentially from behind him as you see the large saber-tooth tiger kind of jaunts up next to him. He rubs his fingers through some of the thick fur and gets close to all of you. You've done better than I ever could have expected.
Well, thanks. We surprised ourselves a couple times.
Well, this kingdom truly thanks you. I truly thank you.
Of course.
And I can send out a handshake.
He will shake your hand as well. Nods his head a few times as you shake. Get some sleep. Rest while you can. If there's anything you need, you can come to me or the other Terra Elders. See you around. Um, as he begins to kind of nod as he brushes past the rest of the party, um, the saber-tooth tiger does kind of very cat-like, kind of rubs the length of its body across Gamesh's kind of knees, and you feel this like slight purr as the saber-tooth tiger then jaunts past the rest of the party to follow its master. So, you have essentially a day's preparation before you're teleported to Don Willow itself. Is there anything you wish to do? You can go and talk to some of the other commanders or try to get some information, whatever you wish to do.
uh, hmm. What do I have? I'm doing Spider Dragons. Yeah, so um I would like to talk to um where is it? Where is it? Queer Neskoff. It's Queer, right?
Yeah.
Queer Neskoff, yeah. Like to
Um,
find him.
yeah. Heading out of the tent, he's pretty noticeable. Being this ancient, um, you know, druid orc. You can see he's currently speaking with what looks to be mages and members of the Terra who he's just quickly speaking to. As you begin to approach, Gamesh, this is one of the fellows you will need to be seeing over the course of the day. Take in his face, his appearance, his name. These individuals, these bright champions of the Terra, will be contacting you, alerting you to our movements. Normally, that information would be reserved for Adler, but as he is not currently able to reach us, it'll be through them.
Got it. I just wanted to let you know that I went back to Fell Pike.
Hmm. I I hope it went well.
Well, it was actually getting attacked by Garistol forces, so could have been better.
I had heard of the plight of Volterra. I did not know it extended that far.
Yeah, luckily I think everyone made it out.
Well,
But going there feels almost like I let weight off my shoulders.
you're healing. It'll take more effort than just visiting, but
Yeah.
it is a process.
One that I realize I'm more ready for than I thought I was.
That is good to hear.
So, I have to add that on my bucket list definitely now, along with visiting the rest of the yards.
It is a noble goal.
Yeah, I don't. Didn't really have much else to say. Just feel like you should know.
I may have to start scrying on Felt Pike, the people in it.
Yeah, there's still destinations to discover.
Was Gerishtal, were his forces going to Bastion?
I can't say for sure, but if they were heading east at all, I can only imagine that that had to be at least on their radar.
Our people are hardy, and Bastion is well defended.
Yeah, I don't see it falling too easily.
Neither do I. Perhaps I may reach out. I still have someone I know there. Maybe we can have more allies yet.
Maybe.
And if you, well, showed your face in Felt Pike and did what I assume you did to stop his forces from hurting our people, they may look to this kingdom with new intent.
I
But
could only hope.
yes, we shall see.
Yeah. I don't know how much weight my name has, but I guess it'll have to mean something eventually, hopefully.
Your name already has weight. You have done good things. I am old enough to see those who are on my level, who have had experiences similar to my own, and who are the future me's of this world. Those who seek kindness, justice, and the betterment of all of us. Even if they don't see it in themselves.
Right. Well, gotta live another day to see if I do see it. So, I guess I should go finish prepping for tomorrow.
You do that. The the Lord Aga is not the kindest man, but he is honorable. Of all the people in this kingdom, he reminds me the most of Bastion. of our people.
I'll keep that in mind.
Come, wizards. We have to go find the rest of your party and make sure their faces are seen. And you see this old orcish individual just slowly begins walking down through the encampments, and you watch as a team of about 6 wizards just waddles next to him because they don't want to walk past him, so they're trying to walk at his speed, and he is a close to 200-year-old orc. Oh, sorry, not close to 200-year-old. He's like close to like he's like in the 300s somewhere. And so he's not like super spry, and he's just a little slow, old man.
Alright.
Anything else? Anyone else wish to speak to any of the leaders here? I'll take that as a no. You all spend the remainder of the day resting, training, and getting a feel for the forces here. Majority of the individuals here are well trained. The Terra themselves have brought most of the soldiers here, and while a lot of them seem to be conscripts, older veteran units, they are still highly specialized and seemingly combat ready. And the more you interact with these units, the more the prospect of facing down over 10,000 enemy soldiers is slightly alleviated. Knowing that these forces will be splitting up large enemy numbers, and you just hope that this battle will go well. The rest you have is decent. You all get a decent sleep. Your dreams are a little filled with conflict and slight anxiety of what is to come. Your dreams also are ended fairly early, as in the early morning hours, around 7, the entire camp wakes up to the sound of rumbling earth. As you all awaken and exit out of the tents, you see the Terra currently form whole units. You can see about 300 or so Terra units all ready themselves as the earth rumbles. And then you hear whistles echoing throughout the space. And you see the Terra kind of relax as, breaking through the barrier, you see 400 knights clad in heavy armor charge into the space. Their war horses breathing heavy, thick bouts of steam as the sun just begins to rise into the sky. The cold morning air mixes with these hot horses who seemingly have been charging all through the night to arrive. You can see a few of the commanders begin exiting their tents, and you can see specifically Alana Zahin kind of steps out as one of the leaders of the Terror here, and begins to approach. You can see what looks to be of the heavy cavalry. Most of them seem to be normal mounted units. You do see they have what looks to be about 8 or so war chariots. You can see one individual kind of steps off, pulls off this big old helm, and hands it to what looks to be a knight in his repertoire. You see both of them begin to approach as the one knight dismounts off their horse, still holding their commander's helmet. And you see a prolonged, quiet talk is had between Alana Zahin and this commander. And something a few of you can't help but notice is the familiarity of the individual, the mounted, well, now dismounted knight behind the head of these cranked cavalry officers is a red-haired cavalier that is very familiar.
Black Wall.
Yeah, you do recognize George Blackwall, currently within this mounted unit, who has volunteered to support the fight against Garishtal and his forces.
Is his mother among the forces?
You do see where he came from. He was flanking the this heavy cavalry commander, and you notice a long set of red hair is currently still helmed, but next to where he was. You also see a man next to her, the horses very close together, and they're holding hands. And it seems the whole
Aw.
Blackwell family has come out for this.
That's so sweet. That's cute.
You see, Alana points to a section of the encampment, and you see a whistle is brought out by George himself, and you watch the horses begin to move along and begin to dismount and unsaddle their horses as the heavy cavalry begin to set up their own section of the camp. The Alana and the commander and George themselves begin walking further into the encampment, heading towards the main tent to discuss battle strategy for the coming conflict. You can see at this point, stepping out of their tent in partial plate mail armor is the Lord Commander, who seems he was probably heavily sleeping and was not fully in his armor yet. You see, he kind of sticks his head out of his tent, goes back in, and does not seem to come out for the remaining about 8 or so minutes that he needs to put on his heavy armor. You can see the what's her name? Nadia Reichs enters the tent as well to begin the discussing of strategy. You see that George doesn't really seem to notice you all yet. He's very focused on listening in on the talk that Alana is having with his commander.
Okay.
He just doesn't seem to notice you.
I guess After they had their conversations, I'll approach and speak to him.
Okay. That does give you time. They talk for about an hour or so, which gives you all time to eat a meal. Um, unless you choose to eat your own meals, the encampment does have you know their infantry rations, and it is not the most impressive meal. It is essentially a slab of bacon, hardtack, some nuts, a little bit of cheese. Um, and the most important thing is coffee, of course. No sugar, just straight dark coffee.
Okay.
Um, it is the first real. Um, it tastes like just eating your normal rations with a whole thing of bacon, essentially, and coffee. It is substandard, and you've had better meals than this.
I'm sure.
But eventually, George does step out of the tent with his commander, who seems to have his helm back at this point, and George nods to him as he begins to himself just patrol the camp a little bit and start walking around. And you see a perfect time to go and speak to George.
Black Wolf. Had some time.
Gamash, it's been a while. You're looking good.
Yeah. Still feel the same as ever.
I did half expect to see you here. But it's good to see you.
Likewise.
Are you all joining in on the conflict? Gonna be in the lines?
Wait, what did he say?
Uh, are you gonna be in the lines?
No. We're gonna be working away from the inside out, teleporting inside the board door.
You're part of the Sally.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully when they hear a horse is coming, we draw more of them to us.
That's the plan.
I'm confident. Last time this whole conflict happened, Crankton was, well, it didn't even exist yet. I think he's gonna be surprised when our horses come charging. Heavy cavalry is nothing to scoff at, and Crankton's is the best. Hopefully, when your Sally works, you'll join us in combat, and you'll see it in action.
I can't wait.
Me either. I feel I didn't get to fully showcase my prowess with horse and lance when we were making our way through the world.
But I have a feeling this will be the perfect opportunity to show it off.
Indeed. How's the rest of the crew?
I'll look back at everybody.
Holding up. They got some new tricks to show themselves.
bet. There's moments where I wish I was still with all of you. But you see, he kind of looks back, and you can see um, two red-haired um, knights currently just calmly walking through the camp. You see, he spots them. I've lost time to make up on. Thanks to all of
I
you.
don't blame you.
I wish you the best of luck. I'll see you out there.
That you will.
He will reach out his hand for a handshake.
And I will meet him.
The handshake ends, nods to you, and he walks over towards his mother and father. The rest of the party finally gathers, and you enter into a space. The wizards have summoned you. You can see currently there are 3 of them. In the midst of drawing chalk circles on what looks to be set wooden placemats built onto the flooring here. You see they're expertly carving. You see one currently has what looks to be a group of individuals carrying heavy packs. You can see right now they're just like kind of leaning them on what looks to be like carts and stuff, trying to take some of the weight off. But you can see they have been, given as much food and supplies as reasonably possible for people to carry. They are definitely a little over encumbered, and are just waiting for this teleportation circle to be active so they can just step through and not have to carry this shit anymore. The other 2 seem to have, individuals with other packs, not as filled, however. And you can see many of them are just readying themselves, just kind of stretching, making sure that they all can get through the portals without fuss. Essentially, they're readying themselves to sprint through a portal. And the last one, you can see like 2 individuals are waiting, but for the most part, it seems ready for all of you to step through a portal and teleport.
Alrighty.
Okay. So, at this point, you all ready yourselves as the circle is being finished. Um, you can see Quar kind of just sitting off in the back of the chamber. He smiles to all of you. I wish all of you luck. This was written up by the Lord Commander himself. And he hands over a heavy thing of parchment. This will get you an audience with the Lord Augur, and, well, you can coordinate from there. Good luck. Hands off the documents, and you suddenly hear from one of the wizards, 10-second notice, everyone gather. You see the heavy packed units ready themselves. You see the guards ready to rush in. These newly being sent fresh soldiers to the new front line, protecting Borodor, and you all gather around the space as the wizards finish up their chalk and the portals flash. You all step through with quick succession into a dark chamber. A single blue chandelier hangs from the ceiling. As you all begin to have your sight kind of return to you after that brief moment of teleportation, you know the room is littered with soldiers. You see this teleportation center, the circle itself, is set in a space with two balconies watching over it, one on each side of the room, and each balcony currently has 20 soldiers with heavy ballistae and crossbows pointed directly at the teleportation circle. As you all piecemeal begin teleporting into the space, you can see the packs are immediately dropped as soldiers walk over, begin unzipping them, and then just pulling out rations, food, weapons, medicine, anything that they need to continue the siege. You see one of these guards begins walking over to all of you. Large, tall man, about 6'6", with heavy set tattoos up one of his arms. The other one kind of a couple tattoos, but more barren. You can see the tattoos on the right side go up to his middle neck. He is shaved fully bald, but with a thick beard, and he currently has a halberd on his back, and currently has one hand on what looks to be a heavy set of hand axes on his belt. You all are different. Why'd they send you all?
Did you say why?
Yeah.
We're here to try to let your forces push out.
Oh. I believe I might have heard of you then. I think we're expecting you. Come on. He begins to walk out of the chamber, just expecting you to follow. You can see the individuals behind you are being marshaled by what looks to be lesser commanders in an attempt to relieve what seems to be hard-fought areas of the front. You walk through dark stone chambers. The light here is thin and dim. The space is not made for beauty. It is made for functionality. The hallways are wide and expansive, yet seemingly easily able to be locked down and secured at a moment's notice. There are security doors, currently set open, but are heavy doors with what looks to be arrow slits and murder holes set through in the roof, in the floors, and in the walls. This is a fortress designed for one thing: to make it as painful as possible to push through. Lord Augur is up on the front walls. I'll take you to him. Don't get lost now. It's easy to. He takes you to a large double door at the end of this hallway. You hear soft voices from above you and to the sides, and you look in, and it seems that these murder holes are actively manned. As you can see, a couple eyes peek through these arrow slits, and you can see what looks to be spears recessed into the wall readied and on tracks to be pushed into the hallway to stab at anyone coming in, are actively having hands on them as you walk past. And then the hands let go as you're led through. The door opens into a massive courtyard. You've, you know, in a normal hold, in a normal castle, this courtyard would be normally used as an open space to greet guests. It seems to be the main center courtyard of the castle itself, but it is currently packed with tents and soldiers. The walls of the courtyard stand 200 feet tall, just as tall as the very castle itself. At least as much of the castle as you can currently see. As you're taken upstairs, flight after flight, leading all the way to the top of the walls. You can see dozens of regiments are currently actively training. Most of them seemingly being just regular civilians. You can see what looks to be a few mothers and sons, children not above the age of 14, training with sword and spear in the field below. As you make your way up through the center courtyard, you reach the top of the wall and realize that it isn't a wall. It is a massive crenellation expanding some 200 feet out, covered in trebuchets. You see they're currently being loaded by large elevators on the other side of the campus, essentially. And you see these large boulders are rolled over to the trebuchets, set aflame, and then launched. And it's here, at this height, that you now notice massive flaming boulders are being fired back. You see and hear this sickening crunching sound as you turn towards the essentially, I believe it is the east side. Yeah. You turn towards the east, where you can now see, at this height, the rest of the city. A massive expanse hugging the mountainous mountain. These sheer, tall cliffs that are being dug into actively by active mines in the distance. You can see heavy whiffs of smoke as the large machines are still running, and smiths are working day and night to produce more weapons for the city. And that sickening crunch is what looks to be 24 homes pelted by 30 flaming giant boulders. You see and hear whistles and bells echo across the city as seemingly probably about 40 troops have to go put out those fires now. You see massive ballistae have been set up at the opposite side of this large expanse, this fortress on the edge of the castle itself. And there you can see a tall, just impressive individual. Long black hair is sleeked down and tied into a singular braid that extends all the way to his mid-back. Wearing full plate mail that is adorned in what looks to be heads of strange beasts is a ferocious man. He himself is probably about 6'8", human, and you can see he currently is commanding what looks to be a section of ballistae and heavy crossbowmen. And you hear, hold, fire! And you see the two ballistae launch these massive steel bolts that whiz through the air, separating just the very air around them. You hear the whistle effect as they just begin soaring through the sky, and then you hear this resounding crack of metal. One hit, Johansson. Make it 2, and you're fed today. Yes, sir, yes, sir! and you see he begins to load in another one of these ballistae as these teams begin to work on dispatching. Lord Aga, avant-garde is here. You see the man turns, and this individual is intense, even from the front. You can see massive scars across half his face, as it looked like he most likely took a heavy barrage of some sort of claw attack in his early life. He still has both of his working eyes, however, having missed those important arteries, but his nose is partially collapsed on that right side of his face, as he no longer seems to have half of his nose. His lips are scarred and pursed on the right side as well, and seemingly the entire right side of his face is barely usable. His beard is patchwork. On the left side, it's fairly full and nice, but the claws extend down the middle chin, and you watch as there is a deep recess within the beard itself where the scar tissue no longer grows any hair, leaving him permanently disfigured in that way. You see, he smiles, and you see these extended, almost toothy fangs in his smile. His very expression is almost animalistic in nature as he smiles towards you and steps forward. Do you wish to say anything to him at the moment as you approach?
Um, always forget the guy's name. It's Quair. Oh shit. Hmm.
Lord Augur, I suppose. Heard a lot about you.
Sorry about that. You presume. You presume. I can't say that word right now.
Presume.
Yeah. Presume correctly. You may call me Lord Aga, if you wish. I was alerted to your coming here. I've heard some information, but I request more. Johansson, fire! And you hear the whistling sound again as the two ballistae have seemingly loaded, and he knows exactly how long it takes them. As they fire their ballistae, you hear another resounding steel crunching crack. Johansson, you shall be fed today, my son. Continue on. Take it from here. And he pats the guard who led you there on the back, who steps forward. Johansson, let's continue this. The Lord Augur begins to walk with you a little bit further away from the front walls of this keep. I don't have any fancy tricks, so I hope we're not being spied upon. What's the plan?
Might be able to handle that.
I use Lumberdoom and I'll cast See Invisibility.
Cast See Invisibility, and currently there seems to be nothing on you.
All right, no sensors or anything.
You don't spot any.
Okay. Oh, and we had a long rest, right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Because it took a full night for them to regain their spells to be able to even teleport you here.
I rolled a 1 on that twice now.
Damn.
Alright, alright, so my eyes glowing with that greenish blue magic.
Seems everything's clear for now.
Wonderful. I know you came here with a reason, so speak it plain. I have a siege to end, and I wish to be done in the morrow.
Then sounds like we're on the same page. We're gonna help your troops push out.
Against a horde that size, you're speaking my language.
We have amassed a fighting force. About some 8,000. Just outside of this lock. They're going to approach with the intent of drawing some of the forces away.
I'm sure
Chill
they
out.
will.
And that'll give us all the leverage we need to do one push to get everyone out. And end this siege.
Sounds perfect to me. I'm assuming you can help me with the defense till then. Ensuring that we last that long?
Yeah.
Good. If there's anything you need from my troops, we'll make the preparations in time. Now, if you wish, you can come see what we're up against.
Good to know.
And I guess if he goes, I'll follow him to see. But
Yeah. He
they're fighting.
he walks over to the ballista, puts a single hand on the crenellations, and peeks his head over. You watch as a few large molten boulders just course upwards and slam into the heavy walls here. But these walls here are part of an installation, a fortress in and of itself. And there's 200 feet of space. Probably not all stone, but most of it seems to be. That they have to burst through just to break into the castle complex. Looking over the walls, you look down 300 feet to a hill covered in red. A swirling swarm of bits of molten red and dark black obsidian. 10,000 strong. You see all manners of creatures set within this space. Large salamanders, massive magma elementals, creatures made of pure bubbling lava, swarms of small spiders that partially climb up sections of the walls only to be shot down. The spiders themselves made of rock and magma. Giants and the main force. Obsidian warriors. Individuals you have fought before. Seen before. The resounding roar of the army below you fills you all with a sense of dread. It is one thing to know about an enemy army and hear the number of 10,000. It is another to see 10,000 entities and creatures and monsters that you all know in your heart would attempt to kill you in but an instant. You hear the whistling sound. Once again, as two ballistae are shot off. Hear the resounding cracking crunch as obsidian armor is pierced by heavy ballistae. And then the enemy that you saw is gone, replaced by another identical individual. With every shot, with every kill, there are so many more taking their place.
Okay.
You hear a resounding echo across the field. God damn it. You see he immediately turns towards some of the archers. South wall, now! Aim for it! And you see they all begin running. You watch as some 50 archers begin bolting towards the south wall as you all turn and look. And watch as what looks to be lava climbing the wall. And you watch another section of lava. Pure magma. Just beginning to ascend to the top of the wall. Burning and sizzling its way up it. You see arrows are immediately shunked into it. To very little effect. As they burn against the molten ooze that is currently climbing a portion of the wall. There's another resounding crack as suddenly you hear stone breaking and look and see a large molten creature. Some sort of molten elemental barreling its way, burrowing through the stonework, attempting to break into the structure.
Okay.
And you also see, blasting from the mountains above you, and then crawling down sections of loose stonework, are dozens of small, tiny little magma elementals. Lord Augur turns towards you. You came to help my city. Help it now.
Okay.
There are 3 targets within the city. Who goes where?
Okay. So there's small magma elementals coming down.
Mm-hmm. It seems they have tunneled through the mountain itself.
Okay. Then there's like molten lava. I'm guessing a lava elemental that's climbing up.
It's most familiar to you as being some sort of ooze made of pure lava.
Oh. Okay.
Could I have, while we were like getting to this place, attuned to that armor?
Yeah.
I think the resistance to fire is probably going to be better than the immunity to crits.
Just so you know, as Faradir attunes to the armor, it finally has a host not trying to diminish the history of the armor. And thus, as you attune to it, all of the burned chunks and flakes fleck off. And when Faradir emerges, having attuned to the armor, you are clad in a golden bronze.
Ah, that totally throws off my color scheme.
Uh,
What about the aesthetics, Graham?
Um,
I'll make do. It's alright. I'll make it through this.
oh goodness. What about the aesthetics?
yeah, it's the aesthetics are not gonna be too too present, I guess.
He said, not this time around.
Yeah, if you look in the Discord, that's kind of what it looks like.
Fancy.
It is. Now imagine that scorched and looking like a cast iron pan, and that's what it used to look like. It's
Oh,
That'd be
probably
pretty dope, though.
it looked tacky. I assure you.
Wow, the solid gold doesn't look tacky? Alright.
I mean, it's better than you seeing solid like brass through like chipping like rusty like you know cast iron. Scorched armor does not look good.
Also, just recently I realized I have resistance to poison damage. Which hasn't come up, but I didn't know I had that
Hmm, that'll be useful.
from one of my runes. Now I have fire too. I'm just into cold, poison, and fire. Yeah, Freddy just comes out real fucking loud because she's never worn plate armor before.
Oh yeah, it is
um,
incredibly loud armor, but very fancy. And yeah,
how close is the one that's burrowing through the wall right now?
that is honestly the furthest one, but it's also the biggest.
Okay.
Like the oozes themselves are pretty small. Like honestly, they are not that big. Um, they're about medium sized, but there's a couple of them. The other ones are pretty small. The little what looks to be tunnelers of some sort. Um, I can show you them as well. And then the large magma elemental is big as hell. So I'm gonna move you all to actually Borodor because that is where we are on the map. And ooh, if you want to go for the oozes, that is your choice. Someone has to go for something. And the city kind of needs your help.
I don't want to split the party.
You gotta split the party. So these are your
That's
choices.
bad.
That's how you create the most fun situations.
So, if you scroll down
How
here,
many of us are there?
6 in total, technically.
Hmm. And are there already people fighting these things, or like we also delegating who's fighting who, like in the
um,
army we have?
the city is going and charging into the fight, but they can only do so much against so many of them.
Yeah.
Um, if you choose, you can all focus on one. Um, but there are 12 of these ones, 4 of these, and 1 of these.
And who seems to be wrecking the most shit?
Um, Actively, this guy is breaking through the wall. These guys are in the walls. These guys are climbing the walls.
They're in the walls.
They're in the walls.
I personally think we should stick together or split into 2 groups. I don't think we should split into 3. Or like, are there more creatures behind this thing that are waiting to get in? Or is it like
If the
pretty
big
much just
one,
these guys already inside and these ones climbing?
those the tunnelers are actively inside. The oozes are climbing the walls, and it looks like the big one will break through the walls if allowed to, and will create a breach.
But are there more things behind it
Oh, guaranteed.
that would? Okay, so
Um,
we should. I think we should maybe focus that one just so that we can prevent more things from getting in. Because the tunnelers, they're already here. The oozes, like, they're climbing, so they're gonna be in soon enough. But if we can prevent this thing from breaching, that could help slow down a lot of the forces. What does everyone else think? I'm not exactly a master tactician.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Definitely need to definitely focus on the elemental.
Mepehi, Senti, Gamesh?
Sounds like you guys want to fight the elemental.
It sounds like a lot of people not disagreeing or agreeing, so we'll take that as a yes.
Yes.
Alright, we all go to the elemental.
Okay. The elemental is currently burrowing his way upwards into the same facility you are on top of. So just looking over the edge, you can see him just actively tearing apart stone. It burns in his hands as he is burrowing through it.
I mean, yeah, I guess we just run up there.
Okay. You run over to the edge and look down. You can see him.
I'll take out my long bow. And shoot at it. Which is very effective. If it's even within range.
Oh yeah, it's within range of your longbow.
Guys, make some attacks against it.
Go ahead.
Cool. I'm not gonna giant might yet. I don't know, should we be doing something else, guys? Like, nobody else is saying anything.
Oh, sorry. I'm running low on energy now.
There you go.
Senti's
Oh.
been typing for like 8 years.
Oh. What do you got for the ooze? Bomb and laser. Okay.
Laser.
All right. Sunburst. Hmm. That is a laser. Um, did anyone say they wanted to go to any one of the other ones already?
I think we were all gonna go to the big guy.
Everyone else seems to be just willing to hit the big one.
To try and prevent more things from getting in.
Okay. I'm guessing this one right here, the one on the bottom left, that's the one that's climbing down.
Yeah,
They're already inside.
yeah,
They're
they're
already.
basically in the city.
How many
These
of them?
are currently climbing the walls. This one's making a breach for a bunch of other shit to get in.
How many of these ones are there?
12 of them.
12. Damn.
I think we could just leave those to like the other people fighting.
I don't think we can though. Everything here is going to have that situation where if you hit it, it's going to do fire damage.
Yeah, we needed some people to cast protection from energy on us. Are there any wizards in our army?
Not this one.
Well, that's unfortunate.
How far away is this one?
Currently, he is digging upwards through the solid wall and is currently about 150 feet away.
150,
160, actually.
160.
He has a 40-foot bow speed.
Fuck. Too far away from me. Damn, I need to get closer to him. And I'm already at the edge of the wall.
Yeah, you're looking down towards it, and it's just burrowing itself upwards.
I'm gonna just shoot my bow at it.
Yeah, shoot away.
That's all I can do at this range. It's a disadvantage because it's just outside of normal range. Cool, cool. It's a really good roll there. Wow, another amazing roll.
Wow.
Oh, that's not a nat one.
17 does hit.
Cool. That is, whoa, max damage. 12.
Oh.
Yeah. It slams into the lava entity. You can see like some of the stone just flakes off and then is just replaced by molten magma that begins to harden as it gets to the exoskeleton.
Cool. Love that for us.
Alright. Can I, I'm going to use 4 charges from the Spire Dragons. To cast Ice Storm on it.
Okay.
So I'll need a deck save.
That is a 1.
Alright. So it's going to take a total of 16, 24 points of damage, 5 bludgeoning, 11 cold, and 8 force.
Okay.
And I don't know if you'll turn that into difficult terrain or not, since it's on like the
Um,
wall.
I would say I will. Additionally, you watch as it gets hit with the cold damage, and it partially cools. You see a lot of the molten rock turns to solid stone, and you see it slows drastically.
Anyone got Cone of Cold?
Yeah, you get the sense that this creature is made of pure magma, and cold damage, while it's not weak to cold damage, it is susceptible to slowing it down.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have anything else for cold damage. I think Seer has Ice Knife. I don't think she has that prepared though.
Oh, I do have. I also have Ice Storm too, which I can throw on him.
I'll leave that for you to decide.
I probably need to go, by the way. I've got homework.
Okay. Well, since it is 11, it is getting pretty late. I feel like we can end the session here.
Okay.
I'll make note of its health, as it has taken some. Yeah, we'll end right as you all are preparing to defend this great city from the siege, actively threatening the lives of everyone in it, and technically the fate of the nation.
All right.
Cool! Dope, love that.
Nice, 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 nice.
Yeah. I was wondering what your plan would be, personally.
Uh,
Is
what do
it
you
a
mean?
play?
It is. It
Like,
is one of the options. You know,
oh, we might as well do this, I guess.
it was either this or you could have attacked with the remainder of the full army, which would have been, um, different, a little bit.
I assume the army's gonna, start fighting those burrowers, maybe, hopefully,
Well,
before they murder too many people in the city.
well,
It's like,
just
it's
so
like
you
honest.
know, the city of Bordor has to survive essentially the next 2 days.
We love
Because
that.
Wanistan has not arrived yet, Farsalis has not arrived yet, and they won't arrive till essentially tonight, the day, like the night of this day, and then the next morning they can, begin to march, and draw off the forces. So
Resources.
yeah,
We're gonna figure out the.
Good thing I haven't done Giant Might yet.
and judging from the distance, they can get approximately a little more than halfway to Borodor, um, in a single day travel. So yeah, most likely 2 days, or maybe a day and a half. So good luck. Hope you don't lose the city.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
Thank you all for playing.
Or what is it good for?
That is
Absolutely nothing.
exactly the joke I made earlier today. I was asked what is the session today. I'm like, it's all about war, and what is it good for?
Not us, that's for sure.
Nope.
Think of us at all.
All right, well, thank you for the session. I'm not it. It was fun in the way that it wasn't fun because we're doing war.
Don't worry, it'll ramp up soon.
Except more than war. I feel like that's probably the most it could be.
It can be it could be genocide. I mean, I think that's part of war, but that's
That's
a
out of war, kinda. We already went through that.
yeah, we already did.
This isn't just genocide. This is like worldwide annihilation.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Ultron attacking the Avengers,
But worse because lava.
but lava.
Remaking the material
You
plane.
can't use an EMP on these guys.
Yeah. Remaking the material plane for the fire primordials.
They already have a whole fucking plane in existence. What do they need another one for?
Not the real primordials.
They got the whole fire plane.
No. Not the real primordials.
What else is the plane for if not for them?
The real primordials were kicked off of their home plane and given a new one, exact copy.
Well, they can live there and not here.
Hmm. Well, what happens
This
when
is
one
our
is
backyard, not yours.
what happens when one stays on that plane and it doesn't get to leave?
It gets
Cry
angry.
about it.
He
It has a
is.
lot of feelings to unpack.
Honestly, Gershtal needs some therapy.
If you
Fair.
get kicked off an entire fucking plane of existence, you're the problem.
Oh, he didn't get kicked off. He missed the boat.
You can get there. It's
Can you?
yeah. There's magic.
It's another plane
And
of
also-
existence.
Yeah, rifts to other planes open.
Yeah,
They're
except
not like it's not impossible to get there. I feel like he didn't try all that hard. You need one person
here's
who
the
can
thing.
cast plane shift.
rifts to other planes do exist, but there is a single god holding them all closed.
Well, tell him to stop.
Ask Gamesh to tell him to stop.
Gamesh, tell him to stop. And send Garishtal home, or I don't know, fucking find anyone who can cast plane shift.
I mean, I can use plane shift.
Yeah, plane shift and send Garishtal home. I feel like he could have tried a little harder to get home. I'm just saying, rather than immediately going for world destruction.
I mean, he technically didn't. He only started his world destruction 700 years ago. Well, but he built up for like 300 years. So like so around like 400 years after the end of the previous age. So essentially 400 years after no one could traverse the plains.
You're telling me he couldn't find a single person that can cast plane shift in 400 years?
I mean, that's pretty powerful magic.
In 400 years?
The thing is, plane shift.
It still requires a tuning fork anyway.
Yes, it requires a tuning fork.
Could find one.
But also, he is not just a normal guy trying to traverse the plains. Like, normal creatures have a tendency to just traverse the plains kind of easily. Like, small groups of demons can traverse the plains. It's not unheard of. You have traversed the plains as a small group before. It's possible. But a godly figure, that is one who cannot traverse the plains. That is one who will most likely be stuck wherever they are.
But why though?
He's a titan. He is a primordial titan.
Why doesn't he learn plane shift?
You don't think he has it? How do you think he got back from the fire elemental plane? He can't. He can traverse to the fire elemental plane, sure. He cannot traverse back to his home plane. The primordial plane.
Oh my god. This guy's ridiculous. I don't like him. Good night, Grizz.
Night.
I think Gerishtal had more options and didn't pursue them personally. But that's just me and my logical thinking. But I mean, Zarin also had more options and he didn't pursue them either, so...
Yeah.
Maybe crazy people don't like having a lot of options, is what we're realizing. But I have some homework I need to go do.
Yeah. Have a good night.
And I don't want to do it.
Same. I get that.
Good night, everybody. Talk to you later.
Adios.
Yep, good night.
Good night.